So, hello, fellow Earthlings, and this is Earthling 6455463728. And, I just figured I would talk about how to avoid crime. Um, I have a visitor from another country, came over here recently to enjoy the sights, and one of the things that people keep telling her is be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. And that's what she's asking me. What do you think? You think this is safe, that's safe? And I'm like, I've been in I've never personally been robbed. I've known people who have been robbed, who have been stuck up. I don't think anybody in my family has that happened. I don't think so. I don't think we have ever been, between my sisters, my mother, no, my uncles. Oh, one uncle was robbed. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, basically, what it comes down to is you have to be aware of your surroundings. Depending on where you are, you don't do things to attract attention. Like if you're in a particular place, you may not want to have your rings on, or your jewelry, or your earrings, or brand new sneakers or clothes or anything that somebody can just easily take away from you, and it might attract them to you. It depends on where you are. In some places you're fine, in other places you aren't. And I personally have been followed. You say, how do you know you've been followed? Well, because I turned around one evening when I was walking, and I saw behind me this guy that I'd had very, very brief but unpleasant interaction with. And he looked like he was following me. So because of that, there was a police station that I knew of, and I headed straight to that police station. And as soon as it became clear that that's where I was going, the person turned around and stopped following me. So there's that. I have been almost robbed. I was at a particular place with my head down, in my phone, where I shouldn't have been. And lucky enough, I saw this shadow approaching, making a beeline for me. And I looked up, and the person seemed to be shook. Suddenly they're walking around me, and then they go off and stood where it would have been behind my back, in a particular area. And I was just like, this is sketchy, let me get out of here. And as soon as I decided to start moving, I noticed movement exactly in sync with me. It was another person on the same place that this guy had come from, and that person was walking with me. So I was like, no, I'm done with this. And I just went right back into the bar where I'd come out of, to stand up for a second. And that was it. It was another time, I was standing up, waiting to get some transportation, and I noticed these guys were staring at me. And I was like, I happen to have this nice watch that my mother and my family got for me. And I was like, hey, it's probably this. Well, that's in retrospect. At the time, I probably wasn't thinking directly of it. Afterwards, when I'm like, what's going on? Why did this happen now? Then I realized, yeah, wrong place, wrong thing that you had on. And basically, I started walking away from them. It didn't bother them. I started walking a little bit faster. Didn't seem like they minded. So I just flat out started running from where I had stood up close to them to another intersection where there would be more people or whatever. And as it turned out, there were people who were angling, either two or more individuals who were probably going to come up behind me. Like from where I eventually stopped and looked back, I saw that at least two other people, if I had just kept standing, they came out from like an alley or whatever it was, and they came out of there. So if I had just kept standing there, they would have come up behind me, and then there's these two guys in front of me, and that would have been it. I would have had almost nowhere to run. So, and there was another time when it was pretty late. There were no vehicles around at all, and I crossed the street to go up another street. And as I crossed the street, this car comes out of wherever, and they happen to turn on exactly the same street that I was turning. And this is what is like, I wouldn't have seen any cars for the last 5, 10, 20 minutes. But this one car with more than one person inside happens to be going up the same street that I am. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. So I decide to turn back down the street, and lo and behold, they just turned up that street by accident. So they made a U-turn in, like an adjacent street off of the street that I was just now on. They made a turn to come back down and out of that street. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, time it 3, 4, and then turn in another direction, and yeah, nothing happened. But when you see too many suspicious things, I look around me, and let me tell you, there have been at least 2 occasions where I was with my sister, and my sister said, hey, that guy's following us. And I didn't see it. I was not the person to see it. Actually, there's 3 occasions where something sketchy was happening. 2, somebody was clearly following us, and she saw it. I didn't see it. But even though she saw it, I started to make, like double back. We went this way, then that way, to make sure that, yeah, this person really was following us. It's like when you turn left, and then you turn right, and then you turn right, and you turn right, and you turn right, and the person's still behind you, then they're following you. And that's what happened. We went into a store, the person was outside the store waiting when we came out, or maybe they came in for a second. Then we went back the way we came, and then they were still behind us, and then we turned back, and they were still. So this was in Italy. I was on an Italian trip. There's another trip when we were in, was it Columbus? It could have been, I don't know. But, and then there was one other time where we were driving around, it was kind of dark. Mm-hmm. And apparently somebody drove up behind us when we parked, and they drove so close to us that you couldn't even see their headlights. I couldn't see it from the driver's seat. I couldn't see it. It's only when, she told me there's somebody behind us, and I drove forward, then I was able to see their headlights. And I was like, wow, this person is clearly up to no good, because what kind of craziness is that? And there have been a couple other sketchy incidents. So, you really have to be paying attention to your surroundings at all times. You don't want to be rude to anybody, but if you feel that you might have to be rude to somebody, you go ahead and you be rude to them, and then you just say sorry later, and just explain everything if you need to. If the opportunity arises, don't put yourself back in a problem just trying to be nice or something. So, but yeah, that's basically what I was telling the visitor. I was just telling her, like, you should be aware, and you shouldn't be scared all the time. You should just be alert, and yeah, that's what we always need to do, no matter what field it is, whether it's a personal safety or your house or your job. You should be paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, then try and get more sleep. Try and be more in the moment. Try and not have your head in the clouds all the time. So unfortunately, people have stolen stuff from me, because I wasn't aware. I might leave my bag here, there, or everywhere, and they stole stuff from me. Hopefully I'm not like that anymore, but I was young as a teenager, and that's what happened. As I was telling her, like, I even went to Venezuela myself once because, I just wanted to see what it was like, and that's what everything that I read, people were saying, hey, don't go out at night, don't go out at night. So I didn't want to go out at night, I was scared. And then one night, the last night, I was like, I have to go out. There's parties somewhere. So there's a party somewhere. So I should go, and I went out, and I made sure not to be in any specific place by myself, and make sure there were always people around. And yeah, it was scary, but there were no attempted robberies and no robberies. And everything turned out okay, and I'm back in one piece. I mean, I actually even stayed in, I guess you'd call it a motel, but, people would, I guess prostitutes might bring their johns there. And it was cheap and disgusting smelling. But it was cheap, And every day I thought, okay, well, at least I stayed here and it's fine. But then I'd go look at the prices of the other places, and I'd be like, oh my God, yeah, I guess I can stay here one more night and try to find something else. And in the end, I never did. I never found anything that was as cheap as this place. But all's well that ends well. I saved money, and I was okay. So it's the same thing for you. Be vigilant. So guys, you can wish me lucks. You can like or unlike, comment and say why you do one way or the other, and subscribe and or share. Peace.